Another couple of questions before members have to go, and then I'm going to talk with staff. I now recognize Mr. Bucshon.
Thank you, Secretary Granholm. Thanks for being here. I do want to clarify something about you saying that the generals want to do, is that the generals work for the President of the United States, and the ones that don't agree with the President of the United States get replaced by people who do agree with the President of the United States. So for the American people should know that high-level generals that are running the DOD in an administration are people that, in general, politically agree with the commander-in-chief, or they're replaced by someone who does. So I just think it's really, anytime a political party says that tries to use our military as a reason they're doing something and like it's their expertise, yes, it is their expertise, but they agree. These level people you're talking about agree with the commander-in-chief, or they wouldn't be in their job. That's just don't do that. As I've stated before, I'm strongly supportive of an all-above energy approach. Look, we need reliable, affordable energy, and we obviously need to decrease our carbon emissions. I think that's a goal that we all have. I just believe that it should be about emissions, not about source. And America's future, we have to have affordable, reliable, sustainable energy that is cleaner, no doubt, and will require a diverse energy mix. Have you been recently in Europe or talked to any of your European counterparts in Poland, Germany, Czech Republic, anywhere in Eastern Europe? And are you aware of what's happening in Eastern Europe related to the fact that they've all now recognized that it's a bad idea to be dependent on energy sources from countries that don't like you?
Absolutely.
Well, then you must have a different interpretation of what they've said than I did, because I was just there with Chair Rogers. And, if you go to the European Union, they're true believers in global warming. The ministers there, I understand that. But when you actually talk to the countries who are at risk of losing their national security based on energy insecurity, what they told us, they're rapidly looking for alternatives to Russian fuel. And guess where they're looking in the short term? They're going back to coal that they have, or they are going to rely on LNG imports from around the world, and it's going to, from what they had on their clean energy agenda before, set Europe back by a decade or more on that goal, because they were short-sighted and didn't take an all-the-above approach, and now they've shut down all their nuclear plants, and they no longer can rely on Russian gas. Although there were protests in Europe, some people loyal to the Russians that want the European countries to start importing cheap Russian gas. This creates an international instability. The United States cannot put ourselves in a position of being reliant on foreign sources of energy while shutting down our own energy resources in this country, and that's what this administration is doing by all the things they're doing to their rush to green, to eliminate fossil fuel in the short run and the long run. And what we should be doing is focusing on emissions and not source. And if we don't do that, we're going to end up just like they are over there, scrambling, wondering whether they can keep the lights on and the heat on in the winter. It's just, when these hearings, when I hear my colleagues like yourself and on the other side of the aisle talk about your plans are not doable. Almost everybody we talk to in Europe has now recognized that. It's just not doable without considering an all-of-the-above energy approach, including fossil and nuclear and others. And so so the Energy Information Administration, I will have one quick question. The way their modeling doesn't work. So what do you plan to do to update the EIA modeling capabilities to be sure they can provide policymakers and the public accurate information on energy supplies, demand, and related issues central to the administration's agenda and our policymaking decisions?
Well, I would disagree that they don't work. I mean, they
Well, we have, okay.
are
so
experts.
Okay,
at-
so we've had modeling both on climate and all kinds of things for decades, right? And they've been wrong, all of it's been wrong.
Well, I don't know that all of it has been wrong, but these are
Well, the data
economists and
shows that they're all
experts
wrong.
that know what they're doing in terms of modeling, and they use very sophisticated tools
Okay.
to do so.
Fair enough. We're going to risk the energy future and national security of the United States based on computer scientists sitting at a computer modeling things that have been shown